Welcome to the Carousel of Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Nick Alexander. On last week's podcast, I introduced myself and my colleague, Sarah Bishop, the Carousel's assistant director, and we talked about stepping into our new roles along with the meaning of don't delay joy.
Joy is something that you do put off until later. It's another thing to do. And I feel like from what I've experienced in life, it's that there are no guarantees of anything ever, and especially of time. Time is our most precious resource. And so when it says, like, don't delay joy, it seems so obvious. It's like, well, yeah, who knows how long we have to go and experience the joy. And I appreciate that little reminder, because I feel like that can be applied to not only visiting the carousel, but to our everyday.
We received some nice feedback from listeners. One, named Beth, answered my call to email us at outreach@carouselofhappiness.org and tell us if the sounds of the carousel in the background were distracting. She wrote, "Dear Nick and Sarah, thank you for bringing back the podcast. It was such a joy to hear the theme music again. I'm looking forward to getting to know you both and hearing more about the carousel in the coming months. As for the background sounds of the carousel, I loved it. My home in Ohio felt a little bit closer to Netherland." Well, thank you, Beth. On today's episode, I'm going to try to transport you even closer. We'll walk down the stairs from the birthday party room and find a spot right next to the carousel itself. But it's not just another day at the Carousel of Happiness. Look around and you'll see a large number of people encircling the carousel are wearing medals and insignia of service. This is Monday, May 25th, 2026, Memorial Day, and over 100 people have come to the carousel to remember fallen service members with sadness in their hearts, but also with joy.
Welcome everybody to the Carousel of Happiness for our Memorial Day ceremony. We're so glad everybody is here. I'm Melanie Bonhoeffer. I'm the Executive Director here at the Carousel of Happiness. It's a really special day for us. This really represents what this carousel means to the world and to the community.
Let us begin with today's story. The tradition of remembering and honoring fallen soldiers is as old as war itself, but the first Memorial Day took place on May 30th, 1868. The Civil War had ended 3 years earlier, and when the dust settled, around 700,000 soldiers were dead. That's about as many as the U.S. has lost in all other military conflicts combined. It's staggering to think of now, and even more staggering then. With a U.S. population of only 31 million, about 1 out of every 50 citizens lost their life on the battlefield. So everyone was grieving someone, and the nation needed a collective outlet. On that first Memorial Day, at Arlington National Cemetery, 5,000 participants helped to decorate the graves of the more than 20,000 Union and Confederate soldiers who were buried there. Initially called Decoration Day, the tradition took hold across the country. In 1873, New York was the first state to declare it a holiday. By 1900, several more followed suit. In 1971, in the midst of the Vietnam War, Congress established Memorial Day as a national holiday. Nearly 40 years later, in 2010, the Carousel of Happiness opened its doors to the public for the first time on Memorial Day, and that is no coincidence. In fact, every year since, the Carousel of Happiness has held a special event on the last Monday of May, not so much to celebrate our anniversary as a carousel, but to remember those who've fallen in the line of duty. To understand why, let's return to our place in the crowd encircling the Carousel of Happiness. I think Scott is about to take the mic.
Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Harrison, carver and founder of the Carousel. This day is extremely special to me. We opened on Memorial Day weekend in 2010, and we dedicated the carousel to a couple of my friends who died in the Vietnam War. And I remember them to remember it all veterans who have died in all wars. But you are all hopefully going to remember somebody in your family or friends group who died in a war. And what I hope is, as hard as it is, I hope that you can say the person's name, which keeps him or her alive another year, and tell a story if you can get it out, if you would like, about that person. We're going to do this after our friend Sean, who is here to play taps. And then we're going to pass this microphone around, and anybody who wants to can remember somebody. And then we're going to do some other stuff. And then we'll actually ride the carousel, because we remember people in sadness, but we also remember people with joy in our hearts. So, Sean, thank you. Go ahead.
The history of taps is also rooted in the American Civil War. At Union encampments, a French bugle call was played in the evenings to tell the soldiers to blow out their candles and go to sleep. Fittingly, it was called Extinguish Lights. But it was busy, up-tempo in French, so in 1862, a Union general named Daniel Butterfield worked with his brigade bugler, Oliver Wilcox Norton, to revise a different existing bugle call into what we know today as taps. It was simple, solemn, and powerful. Within months after being composed, taps was used across Union Army encampments. That's impressive, but not as impressive as this. The Confederacy also began playing the tune for Lights Out. That's how perfectly it suited the intended purpose. For now, let's keep listening in.
I'm going to ask Sean to start us off.
Today, I would like to remember my great-grandfather, Peter William Appleby, who served with the Royal Army on Juno Beach during D-Day, and his wife, Ida Appleby. During D-Day, they actually served not too far from each other, but they hadn't gotten a chance to know each other yet. And it wasn't until later, when they served together in India, they realized that they had first met then. After that, they got married. Then went on to receive a Medal of Honor for taking control of an airplane whose pilot had been shot and killed. He landed that vessel, saving the rest of his brothers aboard. I dedicate this song to them and to all of those who have given their lives in the name of service. May their souls rest in peace.
Let's take a quick step back, because I actually had the opportunity to talk to Sean Appleby after the event. And here's what he said about what it means to him to play taps on Memorial Day.
I would have to say that taps is probably one of the hardest songs that I have to play. And it's not because it's complicated. Taps is, if you just look at the melody, it's very simple. But the weight that it carries is so heavy, especially when we're here at the carousel and you hear the stories of everybody remembering the people that are dear to them. Definitely some nerves. It's not something I want to mess up, but I just try to stay calm and really do that melody and the people that it is honoring justice.
Thank you, Sean. You certainly did. Now let's go back to the carousel and hear some of those stories.
All right, I'll open up now to anybody who wants to speak. We'll start on this part of the room, and we'll just kind of pass the mic around in a circle.
I would like to remember my two grandfathers who fought in World War I.
I'm remembering my father, John Alden Jordan,
today and every day.
I remember Captain Monty Shingledecker, 1966, Dragon's Jaw Bridge in North Vietnam. He was the best of us. He remains the best of us to this moment.
I want to remember my uncle, Joe Lamartiniere, who served in the Air Force in Vietnam, my Uncle Van, Michael Melvin, who all served in Vietnam. God bless their souls.
It's important for me to remember today all the animals impacted by the U.S. military's operation and testing.
I want to honor my husband, Richard Dennis Clark, who served from 1963 to 1968 in Special Forces with the U.S. Army.
I'm going to remember my brother, Debbie Dwelling, who served in Vietnam in the late 60s. He sent us a letter a month before he lost his right arm and a bit of his soul in Vietnam.
Today I'm thinking of a lot of people, friends, and others I've served with who have died either in the war or after the war, in Iraq and Afghanistan. In particular, I'm thinking about Sean. This banner right here is in honor of Sean Moore, a dear friend of mine, an Army officer. And he could not find peace here. And he traveled very hard, and I know where he is now. He's absolutely healthy. Our son here, is named in honor of Sean. And I'm thinking about him a lot today. Thank you, everyone.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to say that for me and for my brother, Kostya, it's a big honor to be here with you in this important day for all of you, for all of your country. As for us in Ukraine, we say that heroes killed in action cannot die. And you know why? Because they are living in our hearts, they living in our memories, and it's really amazing about you.
It pains me to do this, but I'm going to cut Kostya off here. It's not because I don't value what he's about to say, it's quite the opposite. Kostya's remembrance was powerful, and so too was the conversation that I had with him and Ilya earlier that day. So I want to give our Ukrainian visitors their due by dedicating a future episode in its entirety to their visit. I had the privilege to ask them about their military service, along with the Colorado-based nonprofits that are helping them navigate their PTSD. Plus, you'll hear what they thought about their first ride on the Carousel. For now, let's return to listen to more remembrances. We're about halfway done.
Today, I'd like to remember Captain Philip Esposito and Lieutenant Louis Allen, killed in an explosion in June 2005 in Iraq. They were my bunkmates.
I'd like to remember my friends and teammates, Liam Nevins, Dave Roten, Matthew Oblio, and Will Lindsay. Afghanistan. Remembering Tim Harper, he's quite a guy. Had so many medals they started giving him men by grade. He died at 20 years old.
I'm thinking of my godfather, Francis Chauvin, who left the leg of the Belgian battlefield after he was shot through by the German sniper. And then the German surgeon saved the other leg in the UK. And like so many good souls, he brought the war home with him, collected with him.
Perry Walker. I'd like to remember 5 Marines I served with over there. Dave Cleveland, Larry Lehman, Jack Vassosi, Willie Harry, and Scotty Keys.
Hello. I worked for the Department of Defense dependent schools for 35 years. And I had thousands of children come through my classroom whose parents were deployed to scary places. I'd like to honor those children.
I'd like to honor Jack Kellogg, Navy, World War II, Jim Jackson, Army, Bowen Jackson, Army, World War I, Bob Jackson, Navy, Korean War, John Seitz, Army, and Clay Seitz, Air Force, World War II.
I'd like to remember Ken Bennell, who's a bad drunk driver just after getting back.
I'd like to honor Netherlands resident Eric Jenkins, born 1950, died 1968 in Vietnam, about 6 months after high school. I'd also like to remember Jed Barker, a U.S. Marine from my hometown, Parkridge, New Jersey, earned the Medal of Honor by basically saving his fellow Marines from a common peril. I also would like to honor my friend Dan Darren, Vietnam veteran resident of Netherlands, who continues to remember those from Vietnam who did not return and also assists his fellow veterans with the scars they carry from the war in Vietnam.
Now, for the sake of time, I haven't been able to include all of the remembrances, and many of them I've abbreviated. But to give you a feeling for the full experience, I'm going to end by sharing one story in its entirety.
I'd like to remember a little story. Dan Wallace. I was a newbie in country with the 362nd of Praline Mountain Signal Corps. Like I said, I was a newbie, and he got me into a poker game. And when I met Dan, I didn't know him very well, but he was scheduled to leave country that day, and he couldn't get out. CO would let him out, and he sat there, and he actually took me for some money in poker. And I've never played poker for money since then. But the next day, while he was waiting to get out to distribution down in Cameron Bay, where he could hook up and then get the flight home, the Claymore mine went off, and he was killed his last day on the mountain. And I've never forgotten that. But it was what I've said other times when I was here, Scott, was that at those times, you all remember them, we would send letters home in the mail. It would take about a week for a letter to come home. And I remember writing to my fiance, Karen, tell her when I would be home. When I get to Seattle, I would call. So all these mothers and wives and lovers were waiting for their men to come home. But that particular time, I can only imagine she was waiting for a phone call from Fort Lewis, and it never came. Instead, people showed up. The officers showed up at her house the way we see in the movies and gave her the bad news. So I want to give a shout out to all the moms and the wives and the lovers who lost their loved ones in all the wars.
Honestly, in the 10 days since May 25th, I can't stop thinking about all the stories and memories that were shared around the carousel that day. It's haunting and chilling and has injected my daily life with a little bit more gravitas. Thinking about the 18-year-olds who didn't get to see 19, thinking about the people who are waiting back home for their kids or their loved ones who never made it back. It's been tough listening through the audio again, hearing the pain in the voices of the people who had the courage to share. And I know that while everyone who spoke received a beautiful rose, they'd rather be holding their loved one. And the memorials, while beautiful and very evocative of the people who were lost, will never be the people who were lost. And so I think the silent ride is appropriate because there's a vacancy where the people who we've lost are not. They're not here. They're somewhere else.
We are going to take just a moment of thoughtful silence.
While all of these stories were so moving and profound, that was something I expected. The silent ride to me was powerful in a way that I didn't quite expect. Seeing the carousel animals transformed into solemn and serious, silent marchers made me see something in the eyes of the animals that I hadn't before. Like there was a sadness there that I hadn't seen in all the animals. And it was really powerful to sit there in silence and watch. And so now, as a sign of respect to everyone who's fallen, and for us all to take a moment of personal reflection, I'm going to leave a short amount of silence right here.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. We want to invite veterans to ride and have some fun on the carousel. And our flower girls, grab an animal, and we're just going to go for a regular ride, and then we'll open it up for anybody who wants to ride for a few times.
Scott invited veterans to come up and ride, but you heard he also invited the flower girls to come up. These were the kids who were going around after everybody spoke and silently handing them a rose. And it was really beautiful seeing this mixture of the veterans and the youth, the old and the young, the innocents and those who've seen the horrors of war, those who've seen it all, sharing the carousel together. That was really beautiful too. And I think, the kids were a little bit serious. The biggest smiles I saw on that ride were on the veterans themselves. Then the carousel was open to everybody after that. There was a good deal of conversation. A lot of stories were shared. And then people congregated outside for coffee and more stories. And it just felt like it was a really beautiful event. And I was really happy to be there and to capture it. And I hope you feel like you were there too for it today. Maybe I'll see you next year at Memorial Day 2027 at the Carousel of Happiness. I hope so. And I know that's a long ways away, but don't despair. Every day is a good day to remember and honor our veterans, to reflect on those we've lost, and those who lost their lives in the line of duty and service to others. At the beginning of this episode, I shared some listener feedback that we received, and I wanted to personally thank Beth, again, and the other folks who emailed us at outreach@carouselofhappiness.org to let us know what you thought. Please, I encourage you to send us a message if you have an idea, if you have a suggestion, if you have a complaint. We'd love to hear it. Speaking into this microphone can feel a little bit like speaking into a void, and so when we see a response from you, it means the world to us. And it completes an electrical circuit between the speaker and the listener that energizes me not to just keep making episodes, but to make really special ones. And I think this one today has been really special. If you think someone else should hear this, then share it with a friend or leave us a positive review. Help me know that I'm not speaking into a void. We're cooking up a couple more very special episodes and very different episodes for you. In the first, Sarah and I are investigating the trend of whimsy maxing. Droves of youth are injecting whimsy into their daily life as much as humanly possible. Why are they doing it, and how can we get in on it? You'll hear all about it when we go out on a whim in the next episode. Then, in a follow-up to today's episode, we're going to spend some more time with our visitors from Ukraine, the service members Ilya and Kostya, and the Colorado-based nonprofits that are helping connect U.S. service members and deal with their PTSD.
My name is Kelly Rohrig. I'm co-founder of Limbs for Liberty. We have partnered with Warriors on Cataract Canyon, which is in its 15th year, and they do raft trips for American vets for same deal, PTSD and therapy. So they have kindly asked us to join them for the last 3 years. So this is our 3rd year and our 4th group of Ukrainians that have gotten to go on the raft trip.
I have some moments in the canyon, in the river, when I really forgot about the war, and it was really cool. It was amazing for me.
Like I said before, this is a very meaningful topic, so I wanted to give it its due with a full episode coming soon. If you'd like to hear more of Sean Appleby's music, the trumpet player who so beautifully performed taps for us, you can find a link to it in the show notes. You'll also find a link there to the wonderful story in the Mountaineer from Christopher Kelly, whose descriptions and photography may make you feel even more as if you're in the room with us. In the meantime, take care, be well, and as we like to say at the Carousel of Happiness, don't delay joy. And we'll see you next time around.
Beginnings and endings are only pretendings. I'll see you next time around. I'll see